Format. Okay, we are live. Yay! Hey, Vlada. Hi there.
Okay, yeah. Now is everything. Hi, everybody. We're welcome you to this webinar, and we're waiting for you to join us and to start this amazing hour that we're going to speak about this interesting topic. Today is joined to me Julia, the CEO of English IT School.
Hi there. Hello, everyone.
Just let me know who's already joined, that they can see us and they can hear us. If you can send a plus on the chat, it will be great. Thank you.
So, waiting for more people to join us, waiting for more people to come in, and I think we are ready to get started in a minute or so.
Okay. So let's start it. I will introduce myself. Hi, everybody. For me, it's my first time that I'm joining to this kind of webinar. I'm Vlada. I'm a CEO partner in Jobit. It's a project that me and my partners work for a long time, couple of years, and now we started it. And Jobit, it's really cool new platform that we launched. It helps IT developers, designers, all the IT area to find quickly their new job. What's great in Jobit that we gather this search that it's really easy and it's really helpful for you to find really fast your new career, and also it's all anonymous. So for you, I think now in our life, it's more easy to to search new jobs, and it's all private. Also, we have a good and a cool bonus system. If you hire to Jobit, so you get 10% of your salary as a bonus. And the other, if you get your referral link and your friend is hired through Jobit, so you also got a job bonus of 10%. So I think for now it's really innovation, and we're really welcoming you all to our platform to use it and really to search for your job of dreams. And today, because we're speaking about new opportunities, about new jobs, we're joining together with Julia, as I already introduced you, the CEO of English IT. Now we're going to speak about two new interesting topics. But first, I think I want to introduce Julia because she's the CEO of English IT. She's a great example of Gen Z because she professional who worked her way up through this profession, and thanks to her advanced English and soft skills, now Julia and her company, English for IT, is helping new students, new developers to get better in their career tech using new English and new community skills. And I think I will just let me...
Yes,
Julia is with us.
I'm happy. Right, I'm happy to take it from here. Thank you so much, Vlada, for your introduction. I would be happy to see my presentation that I've prepared for everyone today. Hi, everyone. Can you say hi to me now, please? I'm so happy that you have me today. And thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for watching me in the recording or now live, because this is going to be an interesting conversation, hopefully an interesting and insightful chat. I do want to chat with you today, so I can see this comments section right here on the right. Feel free to comment there. Let's interact, right? I don't want it to be just one-way street, right? I don't want to talk to the wall today. The topic of our webinar is something that you sign up for. This is how to nail a job interview in an international company, right? Let's say you want to work for an international company and you know that this job interview is going to be in English, and maybe that's your first job interview, right, in your life, just because, let's say, you're a switcher, right? So many blockers. Can you agree? So many blockers, but you can turn them into challenges. And today, I really hope to give you some great things to remember and to apply right today after the webinar. Okay, so if we are ready, I have 3 quick questions for you, just because I want to know my people, my audience here more. I'd be happy to get answers to the following questions. Please practice English at the moment, right? These are all the questions that you are going to be asked before a job interview or after or during the job interview, right? So just give me, please, your answers to the question, what do you do? Right? I'm assuming we have a lot of tech professionals here, but let's check my guesses. Let's check if you are a tech guy, a tech girl, or you work in a non-tech, right? You have a non-tech position here. So, right, give me your answers. Tech recruiter, we have. Awesome. Great. Question number 2. What's your English level? Just consider yourself to be an intermediate English user, right? Or do you think your English is advanced at the moment? Or maybe you feel like you're a starter, which is also good. Give me your answers here now. What's your English level? This will help me share more relevant examples with you along the webinar. And together with that, please share your answer to the question, do you have a job interview soon? Just yes or no. Maybe you just failed, you just bombed your job interview, right? Please share that, share your story of a failure. It's also great, nice practice. Or maybe you just have a job interview next week, you have it scheduled already. Give me these answers, please. This will be very helpful. And please forgive the noise on my background in case it is disturbing to you. Okay, so we have here intermediate learners. Nice, good to know, good to know. And do we have here anyone who has a job interview coming soon? Yes or no? Yes or no, and we are ready to get into it. Right, so okay, so awesome. I could see the reactions. As well as now I know something about you, probably also want to learn more about me. And, you know, we can never skip the stage, especially when talking about job interviews, right? We can never skip the introduction or the elevator pitch stage, right? This question when people ask you the question, tell me about yourself, or can you introduce yourself, or can you share some stories, I mean, some facts about yourself, right? This is the most awkward and a bit intimidating question that everyone needs to prepare to answer, right? This question. So for you to know more about me, my name is Julia. My Ukrainian colleagues call me Yulia, and my Latin American colleagues call me Julia. Either works for me. I'm totally fine with that. Thanks for your feedback here. So I made my way from a teacher of English, so I'm an ex-English teacher, and I made my way up to the CEO of English for AT. I found myself in this role, and I'm absolutely happy with that, with the fact that English for AT can teach tech professionals, also switchers, right? some enthusiasts in this tech or digital industry. We teach everyone tech English, also business English, also general English, and what's also very important is soft skills. Okay, so I've got some experience in this field, and I do want to share it with you. Together with my team, we created 2 products designed specifically for job candidates, right? Like you probably are today. These are 2 products that can help you prepare for a job interview and pass that job interview, right? This is the course called Job Interview Crash Course, and also the workbook, our digital interactive workbook, which is called Tell Me About Yourself. I'm going to tell you more about these products in case you have any questions about them along the way, but I prepared more materials for you today, some practical materials and advice. Are we ready to get started? I hope so. In case we are ready, let's move to the agenda of the webinar. I guess you saw it before, right? When you sign up for the webinar. However, I'm going to tell you about 3 pillars of a strong candidate. In case you don't know what pillars are, no worries, I can teach you this as well, because this webinar is also educational English-wise. I do have some English vocabulary for you that you can take away, right, with you after the session together. This is going to be a set of quick English lessons, so I really hope to give it to you. Also, I know that this is so important to work on our confidence, right? You need to sound confident, no matter you're preparing for a job interview. Maybe you already have your job, right? You need to communicate with your colleagues. You need to deliver your idea to your boss. It can be applicable in any industry, actually, right? You always need to sound confident. And today I want to give you some tips on that, how to sound confident and assertive so people trust you. And finally, at the end, we have the Q&A session. It's also called AMA, so you can ask me anything. I also prepared answers to the questions that you asked me earlier. So stay till the very end if you want to maybe chat with me more and ask your extra questions, okay? Awesome. So moving on. Here we've got 3 pillars of a strong candidate. This is the first point in our agenda. Pillars are, basic components, some columns, right? Like the table. Table can also have this legs, right? That it's not possible to function without those legs. Same is about a strong candidate. Once you have these 3 pillars, right, in yourself, you'll get noticeable among recruiters, right? They will immediately treat you like a good prospect, like a great potential employee, right? Colleague for them. So 3 pillars are, number 1, I'm going to give you some information about your LinkedIn, whether you have it or not. I want to give you some tips on how to make your LinkedIn profile look professional. Also, I've got some tips for your resume, for your CV, how to make it professional as well. I know you had some questions here. And finally, this is the point about strategic interview preparation. I hope you guys prepare for a job interview every time, but let's check it further. So let's start with the professional LinkedIn profile. I've got some real examples for you here, right? Real life screenshots. So you can understand that these are all real life scenarios. This is not just bookish scenarios, right? Something that doesn't exist in real life. So let's start with your LinkedIn profile. I really hope that you treat your LinkedIn profile as your online business card, right? Because this is about your professional brand. This is how recruiters notice you. This is how you get connected with a potential employer, right? Or with the potential colleague. This is a great platform, which is also free, by the way, right? No excuses, guys, for you to register there and to be actively involved in this platform. Can you answer the question if you think your LinkedIn profile looks good now? Do you think it looks professional? Do you think it looks attractive at the moment? On a scale of 1 to 5, what would you say? Mark yourselves. Do you think it's top, so it's number 5, or do you think it needs some, final touches, some edits there? Give me your answers to the chat. That's very interesting. So if we take a look at the screenshot, right? I'm gonna prove that this is important. That your LinkedIn profile is professional. First is this main information, right? This is the header, this is the headshot under the person's full name. This is something that everyone will notice immediately, right? Even without opening your account, opening your page. It should be succinct, it should be to the point, right? It should be absolutely concise and understandable. Like here, Kate. Kate is our student, by the way. She said she's involved in marketing, right? In communications and partnerships. All right, absolutely clear, right? This is the fact, and I absolutely understand how we can get connected with Kate in case we are interested in potential partnership or cooperation, right? Also, if you have a job experience, right, if you are working for a particular company at the moment, this is great. You can mention that in your experience, right? So people immediately see where you work at the moment. In case you don't have any job experience at the moment, that's also fine. You can just leave it as a education, right? So the university that you graduated from or the college. And finally, what is also very important, and we even tell our students to be active on LinkedIn, is activity, right? Activity means that you share your comments, you post something else, your stories, your achievements on LinkedIn, so people see that you are active there. People see that you are a live person, that you are not a robot, right? That this is a vibrant account, and you really can connect with other people more. And sometimes, a lot of people say, I found this job on LinkedIn. Why? Because there was some connection, right? It never happens just with one blink of an eye, so that someone got connected and then there is a job offer. No, it's all about communication. It's all about networking, right? Making those valuable connections. So now use your fingers, right, to see if you have a great headshot, if you mentioned your experience, right, or education, and if you have some activity on LinkedIn. This is also very important. Moving on, another point that recruiters always notice, not only recruiters, to be honest. Recently, I had to find another team member to my admin team, right? And this is an important element that I always pay attention to. The section about. Right, we all have this section about. Now, if you're looking for a job at the moment, make sure that you filled out this about section, right? Make sure that it is clear. This is how you can present yourself as a professional, as a great job candidate, right? As a person who knows your strengths, right? It has particular achievements, and the person who knows how to present yourself. So I even highlighted some great phrases for you here that you may now want to take a screenshot of this particular slide, and then when creating your about section, use these vocabulary. Use the vocabulary, say that you are a well-rounded and experienced, which means seasoned professional, right? Say how many years of experience you've got in this field or in another field. Use such active verbs as skilled, fluent, right? Also, make sure to add information about your skills, about your soft skills in particular, right? And if you mention that you are a lifelong learner, it will make you stand out, right, immediately. So together with the about section, which is also important, we have got this experience section. Everyone has experience here. If you don't have it, remember that maybe you participated in some volunteering projects, right, or something like that. So you may want to mention it there as well. When mentioning your experience, it's not about saying the dates from to when you worked. It's not about mentioning your company's name, but also saying what you did, right? What was your role about? Make sure to use the past forms, past simple tense, right? English grammar here. to say what you did in this particular position. And at the end, also make sure you've included this paragraph about skills so that people can immediately understand, get the idea what you did, what skills you probably developed in this role because you were working on that every single day, probably, right? You definitely progressed. So this is a valuable information for a recruiter, right? Or for a HR manager, let's say. It sometimes tells more than the CV, actually, than the resume. Finally, another point is about licenses and certifications. Does anyone here have this section filled on LinkedIn? Does anyone here have certifications, right, on LinkedIn? Why is that important? Because again, it shows you as a lifelong learner. It shows that you are constantly developing your skills for this particular industry, for this future potential job. It says that you are interested in continuous growing, that you have this growth mindset that a lot of people, a lot of other workers will appreciate a lot. We understand how much important it is. That's why at English for IT, we recently, it was in the beginning of this year, we made blockchain verified certificates. So now our students can get not just PDF files, but blockchain verified certificates by English for IT, and they can put it, right, they set them up on LinkedIn and immediately show themselves as great learners. This helps a lot. Oh, Olga says she has 2 certificates from English for AT. Yay, we've got some students here by English for AT. Awesome, awesome, great to know. And finally, another point that you have to work on when developing, when revamping your LinkedIn profile is the section called recommendations. Again, recommendations is the opportunity how you can vouch your experience, how you can vouch your expertise, your skills, right? Because other people can prove it. Who can prove it? Your colleagues, ex-colleagues, or your present colleagues, your teachers, your mentors, your employers, anyone who you had any professional interaction with in your life before. Again, that is why we often give our students recommendations on LinkedIn. We give them only to our best students who progressed, who showed some achievements, because usually we are responsible. We are always responsible for these recommendations. And that is why a lot of people treat this recommendation section as a very responsible section. They know that there are no random feedback, no random comments. Most likely they are up to date, right? Most likely they mean it. And if they mean it, they can trust it. So just to wrap things up with this LinkedIn profile section, make sure every section on your LinkedIn page looks amazing, looks professional, looks completed, and you really like it. You just take a look at it, you really like it, you really understand everything because you imagine how other people are just scrolling through your LinkedIn. Okay, are we good here? Are we good here? I hope so. Next point, next pillar of a strong candidate. Remember, we've got 3 of them. So number 2 is well-written resume. That could be another workshop, another webinar, right? How to write, how to create a resume or CV from scratch. But it's not actually about the topic today, right? It's not that connected. So I just brought some resume tips for you. Again, treat it as a check mark now. Make sure that you showed your resume to your friends, to your closed ones, right? Someone who works in an absolutely different industry, so they can understand who you are, who you want to be, and what you put into this resume. If this is so, if they understand you, if your, let's say, parents understand you, it means that you delivered your idea in a very clear and succinct way. It means that you did a good job with your CV. Another great tip for you is that if you have any websites mentioned in your CV, or if you have any links to your email, to your, again, LinkedIn, portfolio, portfolio, any other projects or landing pages, make sure these links are clickable, okay? Because this is how a recruiter will learn more about you, even more than they planned to learn. And it's definitely a great plus. Not finally, the pre-last one, limit your resume to one page. It doesn't have to be a long read. It doesn't have to be an ebook, right? It just has to be one page with all the information, relevant information that you provided and proved that you are the right candidate for this job. And that is why every resume that you create, you should create it specifically for a particular job position. It can never be the same. There are no two same resumes if you are applying for two different roles or to two different companies, okay? Remember that point, that advice. I hope you want to follow it. Less is more. Again, you want to be concise, you want to be to the point, and you just want to state facts and give more information, expand on each fact if the recruiter asks you in a job interview, okay? In case you have any questions about the resumes, about CVs now, about some other tips, or maybe you want to clarify things, I'm happy to chat. Please use the chat here on YouTube so we can get connected more. Next point, and the last pillar of a strong candidate, remember, pure means an important aspect, right? Important ingredient is strategic interview preparation. Everyone says, I need to prepare for a job interview. But do you know how many people actually prepare? No, not everyone. Why don't they prepare? Because it may sound freaking, right? Intimidating at first. They may be freaking out and they may feel not really confident again, and they just don't want to plan what to say. But you know what, actually, as well as we teach tech professionals, we help job candidates prepare for a job interview at English for IT. We also work with recruiters. And you know what? Recruiters who come from countries that are not traditionally English-speaking countries, they also worry. They are also shy. They also suffer from this lack of confidence. This is a sign for you that the recruiters are real people and they ask questions just because they want to learn more about you, just because they are responsible for their decision. To find the right person for the company, and they want to be open with you and they expect the same back. And definitely, if you start your preparation with common interview questions, this is a win. This is a success for you. Two most common interview questions, and the first interview questions are, number one, tell me about yourself. Does anyone here feel awkward when presenting yourselves? Does anyone here feel awkward when other people ask you, hey, tell me about yourself? Or another question, which is very common, is tell me about a time when. If you prepare your answers to at least these two questions, you will gain a little bit more confidence. And now you may want to screenshot this slide as well, because we've prepared the fantastic introduction, amazing introduction that you want to follow. You just want to edit it, right? To adjust it to you according to your information, to your personality as a professional, but use the same vocabulary that is presented here on this slide, because it contains quantifiers like 7 years of experience, right? 20 apps here, thousands of dollars. It contains quantifiers. It has an amazing structure of an introduction. It's not that short. It's not that long. It's perfect size. So just screenshot that and follow the same structure. And actually, just for you to know, this is the screenshot that I took from one of our courses, job interview crash course. So can you imagine how valuable it is, I mean, the course. And we are moving on. Another point of strategic interview preparation is to know some tips, right? Some life hacks, some maybe aha moments for you at the moment, because they are so basic, they may sound a bit cliche, however, they do work. So the first tip number one, again, you prepared your answers to these common questions. Please pay attention to this point, don't skip it. Tip number two, once you prepared your answers, try to record yourself. You know, we have this record option, voice message everywhere, in every messenger, in your phone, as an app, right? Just record your answers and share them with someone. If you feel, if you want to keep it a secret, okay, let it be just for you, but then listen to yourself and just rate yourself. Do you sound confident? Don't you have this shaky voice? If you feel like you have it, it means that you just need to record it once again until you are 100% happy. So recordings, they always help, because you need to activate these words, you need to activate this vocabulary and your voice. Another point, when in a job interview, when you communicate with the recruiter, use active listening, because what I noticed from my experience is that a lot of people, a lot of job candidates think that they started a webinar just like me now, right? I'm talking a lot, but because this is a webinar, not a job interview, I noticed that a lot of job candidates, they just start speaking nonstop and there is no end. They start with their general information that they go to experience and then education, or vice versa, and more and more and more, but it doesn't work. If you are a job candidate, please be an active listener as well. Remember about pauses, take some air, right? Give an opportunity to the recruiter to ask questions, not just to listen to you. Remember that this is a dialogue. And the perfect formula, actually, maybe there is not official formula, but it's great if you respond to every question with 2-3 sentences. This is the perfect size, absolutely perfect size of your answers, right? So the recruiter won't be tired of your long speeches. Finally, asking questions. This is a fantastic tip because it sounds so basic, but I really noticed that a lot of people at the end, they just say, I don't have any questions. Maybe they feel not confident to ask questions. That's the reason number one. Reason two, they just don't have questions. It's fine, but it doesn't, you don't come across as a professional this way. So again, as interviews are a dialogue, they are a two-way street, right? It takes two people to participate. So at the end of the job interview, ask questions, because it shows that you are involved. It shows that you are an enthusiastic person. You reflect that enthusiasm, and you do want to learn more about the job, about the position. Even though, let's say, the job interview, this dialogue was absolutely detailed, you don't have any questions about the job description, but you do have some questions about the team that you are planning to work with. You maybe have some questions about professional development opportunities in that company. Do you? Of course you do. So ask these questions, show that you are 100% interested in this particular position. Recruiters, they also want to answer your questions, okay? And they also need some time, some practice to prepare answering those questions, as well as you have the common questions that a recruiter asks you. Also, recruiters have these common questions that job candidates ask them, right? Can you imagine? Have you ever thought about this, circle? So we are moving on to the confidence booster checklist. This is a super short, super tiny, right? Teeny tiny checklist for you, but you do need to pay attention to each point here. Point number one, if you want to gain more confidence as a job candidate, make sure you do some homework about the company. Do you guys know what do homework about the company means? Feel free to Google, or just let me explain. Once you do homework about the company, you do research about the company. You learn more, you go to their website, you pull up their, again, LinkedIn profile as a company. You maybe connect with potential colleagues from that, from the company, right? Potential teammates. So you know more about the company. It means that you're really interested in that. You're interested in the potential environment. You're interested in the projects, in the clients that they work with. Uh, and usually recruiters will likely to ask you, what do you know about our company? And this is where you start. Point number two, to add some confidence, to gain some confidence, make sure you practiced top interview questions before the actual meeting. Again, we just covered that a few minutes ago, early on, and I hope that you took some screenshots from that. Moving on, the recruiters will ask you about your stories of your success, some stories or some situations where you succeeded, right, where you brought great results as a professional. Or maybe you are a student at the moment, or maybe you are a job hopper. Job hopper means a switcher. So you don't have this relevant experience, but please share other stories of your success. You just completed the course, share it. Let's say it's the English for Tech course. Share this achievement. Show that you are good at something. This is important because if you value yourself, other people will trust you and will appreciate you as well. And together with that, to gain some confidence, you do need to think about your strengths and weaknesses. I could see that in the chat, someone also says about this question about weaknesses. Yes, that's important. Why so? Because it shows the recruiter. The recruiter will immediately understand how you assess yourself as a person and as a professional. Can you actually divide yourself into strength and weaknesses? Can you give real examples of what you are good at and what you need to work on? We are not robots. We are all real people. We are not perfect, and nobody's perfect, and nobody has to have to be perfect. That is why prepare such stories. Share stories where you failed, but make sure to give the answer what you did to improve, and share your stories where you succeeded. And it definitely will help you boost your confidence, because confidence and nervousness, I mean, unconfidence and nervousness are two different animals, because if you are nervous, it's okay. Everyone is nervous. Even if you had to present in your native language, or even if that was another public speaking event, or even if you're going to a birthday party to someone, informal event, you can be nervous because you are a person, right? You're a human, and it's totally right. But unconfident, this is a skill that you haven't developed yet. Work on that skill, work on that confidence, and just any other skill, you can develop it with practice. In English, people say practice makes perfect. This is truth. This is complete truth. We just covered 3 pillars of a strong candidate. Now, I encourage you, after the webinar, go check your LinkedIn. Make sure it's perfect. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can even ask me for feedback. I'd be happy to give you feedback on whether your LinkedIn page looks like on online business card now. Also, make sure that you've crafted amazing competitive CV, resume. Finally, make sure that you invested your time, invested your energy, sometimes invested some budget, right, money into strategic interview preparation. Nothing works without preparation. With the job interviews, with some other projects that you have in your work, going further, anywhere. And now we are moving on to 5 language mistakes, because once you fix these mistakes, it will also help you be more confident, because you'll be sure that you sound correct in English, you sound advanced sometimes. I could say that someone here mentioned that they are intermediate in English. Intermediate is a great stage. This is a fantastic stage. This is the stage when you can play words, right? You can use more advanced constructions one at a time, sometimes to incorporate more and more, slightly, right, with every little step, and get more and more fluent. You just need resources where to take this relevant, up-to-date vocabulary and other phrases. So, top 5 language mistakes here for you. I plan to make it in a different way, but it looks like YouTube platform doesn't allow me to make it like hidden part of the screen. So I've got here, let me explain it this way. I've got here 5 sentences, and these are really common mistakes that non-native English speakers make in a job interview. Why? Because these are cliche phrases, so of course they will be heard and said in a job interview, and also because these are typical grammar and vocabulary and some kind of soft skills mistake that you need to fix, you need to debug yourself at the moment. So make sure you have some, I hope you have some notes, pens, or just your phones, laptops handy, and you can write things down. The first sentence that a lot of people say is, I work a QA engineer, or who did we have here? Okay. Let's say tech recruiter, right? The person can say, I work a tech recruiter. No, this is a mistake. We have a fixed expression, which is not very, similar. So it may sound a little bit unusual to you, but still, this is a fixed expression, and you should say, I work as a and your job position, right? Your occupation, or you can say I'm a student. So I work as a QA engineer. I work as a tech recruiter. Simple as that. Can you agree? Sentence number 2. I've worked in Amazon. You already see that the correct option is I've worked at or I've worked for Amazon, because again, this direct translation from your native language says that you should use the preposition in. Well, actually, you should use at or for if you have a specific company, right? If you have the company's name, please use at or for. For example, I work for English for AT. Okay, Vlada works for Jobit. Moving on, I'm agree with you. If you, let's say you wanted to agree with some of my tips that I said earlier, you cannot say I'm agree with you. This is a typical present simple pre-intermediate grammar mistake. This is an error. You should say I agree with you, because agree is not an adjective. Agree is a verb. So just use it as a verb, okay? I agree with you. No to be verb needed. Moving on. I've worked on ads campaigns. Lots of people would say sentences like that. I've worked on ads campaigns, as my manager can say, right? Or you can say also the sentence like guest's house. If there is someone that is connected with partnerships, for example, right, with some hotels, they can say, I've arranged something for the guest's house. No, actually, it should be always in a singular form, because campaigns or house or team, like for example, students team, teachers team, it means already a group of people. Yeah, campaign cannot contain just one person. Team cannot contain just one person, and things like that. So always use such phrases, such expressions in a singular form. I know that may sound like a surprise for someone at the moment. And finally, last but not least phrase here on this list is, this is very good news. This is very good news is a grammatically correct sentence. However, if you do want to sound more advanced, more fluent, and not that basic, go ahead with, this is exciting news. This is fantastic news, wonderful news. Make sure that you expand your vocabulary, learn more, save some great expressions that you need in your real life that you want to activate and use it yourself. Now I'd be happy to get your feedback, guys. Was that interesting? Was that relevant for you? Can we move forward? Uh, have you seen any mistakes here? And please be honest and say if you also have made such mistakes before. Let's sync up here. You can just react with yes or no. That would be really helpful to know. And we are moving further to the almost end of the webinar. Don't forget that we have a Q&A session coming soon. I just wanted to let you know more about these two products that I started talking about earlier. This is the job interview crash course, highly intensive course by English for IT, one of the freshest products by English for IT. We've got some students here, our students, so maybe these students have taken this particular course and can even tell you more about it. But just to be brief with you, to be short, I want you to take a look now and understand if this course can be relevant for you, if you think that you have some time to prepare, if you have around 2 weeks to prepare for a job interview, then check out the job interview crash course. I think we will add some links after the webinar in the description under this video, so you can go and check it. We've created this course for someone who has a job interview soon. So for someone who has to prepare to answer those typical questions, to debug their English, right? To remove those typical grammar, vocabulary, also pronunciation mistakes, because this course has a lot of speaking tasks inside our interactive platform. A lot of people say that our platform is not just user-friendly, it is student-friendly. So I hope you will have a chance to check it out today. The job interview crash course is available only for Chalbit with the promo code TAG25, so you can claim 25% off. And if you are interested not in taking the course, let's say you don't have 2 weeks for your next job interview, let's say you have your job interview coming very soon in a week, or you have it scheduled for this week. So fingers crossed for your success, and maybe you want to check out our workbook. This is a digital interactive workbook which is called So Tell Me About Yourself. This is the textbook where you can craft your perfect resume, your CV, get real feedback from our recruiter on the team. If you want to, again, revamp your LinkedIn profile to make it stand out and look professional, here we've put all the tips that our team knows, and our English for IT friends, such as ex-recruiters from Google, they also shared those tips here. Finally, if you just want to boost your interview skills, boost your confidence, this workbook is a great short version for you to quickly prepare, because it helps all the information specifically about job interviews. No extra information for you needed. Again, I'll add the links. I'll ask Vlada to add the links under the video here. And I guess we are moving to the Q&A session here. Now I'd be happy to get your answers here in the chat, in the chat box. Give me your questions about job interview. Give me some questions that bother you, that you feel like you don't have any answers to them at the moment. You feel like you need someone to assist you, to help you out with that. In the meantime, I said that I prepared answers to some questions that you guys left in advance. So let me see those questions first. The first question was about fear. What to do if you have a fear of speaking because you don't have a lot of speaking practice in English. As I just said earlier, speaking English is a skill. Confidence is a skill, and just like any other skill, whether it's soft skill or hard skill, you have to work on that. You have to work on that. You have to put some effort to develop that skill. And you can do it only with the practice. So practice can make you perfect. It's absolutely great, and it's an amazing experience if you have a chance to attend several job interviews. You don't have to think about that like, oh gosh, this is another job interview that is probably not going to be success. No, this is another job interview where you can practice, where you can learn more, where you can gain some insights and incorporate them in the next job interview if that was not your final final one. So you have to work on that fear. You have to leave your comfort zone. No magic pills here. Okay, moving on. Another question: how to be with the fewer words? Oh, you know what fewer words are? Fewer words are words that fill that air when someone doesn't know the answer. Someone can ask you a very difficult question, or just a question, sudden question that you weren't prepared for. We, by the way, in the course we teach you how to prepare answer sudden questions, but usually it goes automatically that people start adding fewer words. Fewer words are such sounds like and they think that take some time to create an answer. However, the best idea is to use fewer phrases. Some phrases like "let me think," or "I cannot remember that off the top of my head," but, or you can say, "this is an interesting question, I think." So it takes the same the same time, right, length of time for you, but you just don't make this random, not professional fewer sounds, but you go with fewer phrases. It's absolutely better to use. Which words are better not to say? If said he means this particular question about fewer words, so you just have to cut off such sounds like they don't work. They don't work, and you immediately get back with your confidence. You get unconfident with that. So don't use, try to avoid such sounds and use more powerful vocabulary instead. Okay, moving on. Someone is asking about intermediate level of English, asking me if that is enough to go to a job interview. I'm sorry that a lot of people think that this level is not enough. Actually, even pre-intermediate or low intermediate English level is enough to go to a job interview. Yes, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for you, more challenging, but if you can operate this number of vocabulary that you know according to your level of English, it's amazing. So usually we recommend starting with the intermediate level. Once you have the intermediate level and you have a fear of speaking, it means it's not about your English, it's about your confidence. It's about your self-esteem or just self-confidence in general. So no excuses. If someone here has a low intermediate or intermediate level of English, that's the right moment to finally apply for a job interview, schedule that job interview, and have probably, I think, your first job interview in English and gain some experience here. How to test the English level? All right, again, how about I add a link to our test that is on our platform, is a course where you can just for free check your English level. This is our platform designed by English for IT, so it's absolutely safe. Just take the test there, see your English level, and then you can prove it. You can claim it. And final question that I have on my list, and then I'd be happy to answer your questions here from the chat, is it okay, what is better, to study with a teacher, meaning individual lessons, or to enroll into the course? Both options are great. It depends on your learning goals. Let's say you just want to improve a specific skill, right? You want to focus on something very specific, for example, how to prepare for a job interview, or how to develop your soft skills, or how to improve your tech English, or how to work on your pronunciation, a lot of them. Maybe if you know some courses like that, they are very well structured. You already see the course agenda, the course curriculum. This is a great idea to start with the course. However, if you don't have this clear goal at the moment, why don't you go with individual classes or maybe speaking club sessions where you just develop your English, you practice English, you have the speaking practice on any random topics. Both options are great. As I just said, it depends on your goals, what you want to achieve soon. Okay. Right. Seems like I've covered everything from your question list. Maybe someone has some other questions here. I'd be happy to answer them. Let's give it some seconds, in a minute or so, and we will wrap things up. Okay, looks like I was really pretty much detailed today, so no one has any questions. But honestly, we've covered a lot of ground. We've touched the most important pillars, the most important subjects that recruiters pay attention to. This is LinkedIn, this is your CV, this is the strategic interview preparation. Everyone will understand whether you prepared for a job interview or not. It's not about you, your confidence, it's about other people. It's visible right away. Okay, finally, another question, and we can wrap things up here by from Olga. Is it ethic to go to any interview just for practice? Just for the sake of practice, it's a good option, but if you have a clear goal, because right, we are people who respect other people's work. Yes, you respect other people's time. So if you really want to know more about this field, about this industry, about this job, and you think like maybe you're not the right person for this role, but who knows, then you can go to a job interview, then you can for sure schedule the job interview. However, if you realize that now you're not ready, even with the best conditions, take this job offer, right? Even with the best scenario in the perfect world, you're not ready, then it's best not to use the recruiter's time and energy, because can you imagine how many job candidates, how many back-to-back calls they have in a day to find the right person. But this is also a good idea to, yeah, to do have some job interviews, so you prepare more and you know what they are from the inside. Be aware, be always aware of that, mindful. Okay, great. So let's put it this way. I just want to give you another maybe pep talk here, just saying you good luck. If someone here has a job interview coming soon or wants to have a job interview, you just have to stay focused. You just have to prepare, invest your time, invest your money, invest everything, your energy, sources of energy, to prepare for a job interview, because this is so responsible. This is your job, and if this is your full-time job, can you imagine, this is part of your life if it means 8 hours every single day. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to treat it as a very responsible and very important decision in your life. And once you have it, please have a good luck. Don't blow your chances. Don't blow your chances. A lot of people blow their chances just because they feel not confident or they are not prepared. Two bad things for you not to repeat after someone else. This is it from me. I hope that it was interesting. I hope that it was a good time with me. Maybe you learned something from the slides. Maybe you took some screenshots. Maybe you learned something about our courses. Once again, if you want to connect with me, let me put it this way. If you want to connect with me and learn more about English for IT, to see if we can help you prepare for a job interview, or maybe you have some other English related questions, I'm always happy to chat. Make your grow your network on LinkedIn right away. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for this warm atmosphere. Nice little company that we had today. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope to see you all again soon. Wada?
Yeah, Julia, it was really great. Thank you so much, because even I learned some tips for me, and I think everybody learned something. So really, it's really nice to having you here. And also, I want to thank to everybody who joined us today and asked their questions, and everybody who are going to join us later when they're gonna see the save video. So thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope everybody got something for them. And I will post the links later on the video of the prom code and everything, so you're gonna have it at all. So also thank you so much. Bye everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.